Before we begin, thank you very much to Convoy the size of TJ himself for pitching in over on Kofi. That would actually be fun, like divorce class big convoy, like mammoth mode big enough that in beast mode you could actually ride it, or hey, just take all the shell off like we did with the original toy and just have a mammoth toy and a giant convoy beside it. That would be fun. Impossible to find a place for. I don't know how you'd get it through the door with the big span of his shoulders. Oh, thank you very much for the pitch in. Thank you very much for donating. I do appreciate all of the support. It helps me tremendously, especially like this time of year, especially because like the ad rates suck in January. So the help is very, very much supported this month. Okay, so last week we talked about Masterpiece Transformers and if it has a real point to it anymore. And it got a response. So I want to see what the market was like for Masterpiece at the moment. Because honestly, I don't really like have my pulse on the upscaled side of Transformers. Third party, Masterpiece, your divorce class out there, your statues. Like all that high end stuff is so far beyond. You're looking to someone who made a special trip out just to save $8 on the new Arachnid toy at Target. Like I'm not like going out of my way anymore to like keep track of the big end Transformers. So let's browse eBay a little bit. Let's see what Transformers are actually going for these days. So in an effort to make this as fair as possible, I'm trying to exclude a few of the more notable sellers of these replication Transformers. I'm trying to remove knockoffs from this list. I'm trying to keep it to just Takara releases. I want to see what the original Masterpiece line goes for now on the aftermarket. And it begins with the saddest picture of Dinobot I've ever seen. He's just all busted and broken because that's a very complex Transformer. That is something that someone bought and got their, or probably got as a gift and just couldn't figure it out to the point where it was just a mess by the time they decided to just get rid of it. I clicked on that one earlier. By the way, no sword, no tail. Hence why it's less than $100. And let's go down here. $80 for Smokescreen. Now, this is another point to mention here. I don't remember all of the original MSRPs on these, so I don't know how much this is going for. That Datsun mold is really good. $80 shipped, I don't think is terrible on that one. I'm surprised anyone is still buying the original Masterpiece Megatron. That is the most rickety thing I think Transformers has ever produced. I mean, it's got some appeal to it, I guess. It's just a really weird looking Megatron is all, but it's far more affordable than the oh god, I can't remember his number. The 2.0. Let's go with the 2.0. Hopefully we see the 2.0 on here and you'll see the difference. Okay, here's Silver Streak. 115, just because it's the special version with a coin, I assume. Okay. Clampdown. I'm shocked Clampdown actually has that value. It's Masterpiece, but it's Clampdown, right? 400 for the original Masterpiece, still sealed in box. I'm gonna be real with you. I thought it would be higher than that. I do understand that toy was released multiple times. I understand that toy had a pretty long production life, considering it was a special like anniversary piece. But also it's one of the most popular Transformers to ever come out, so that also shouldn't shock me that there's a lot on the market. But still, 400 is like lower than I would expect, because that's like, despite all the improvements we've made in engineering and how much, quote, better the other two MP convoys are, I would have thought this would be, I don't know, a little bit lower or a little bit higher. I don't know. 400 is like somewhere in the middle of where I thought it would be. Sound Blaster for 325. I know that's way up from what it used to be. Now, we might have another one coming up if they want to repaint that Soundwave again. This is more shocking to me because it's just so hard to get a hold of that Ratbat. Why is it always Ratbat? Even in the original G1 toys, like a lot of people just ended up going to reissues. and are knockoffs in order to get a hold of those toys. I think same is true as Masterpiece as well. 200 for Skywarp. That actually doesn't surprise me. It's the 2.0 mold. I got mine as a present, so I don't even remember what mine cost. I know at one time those were on pretty good clearance. 55 for the cassettes. Those have also been released a lot, so no surprise there. I do know that Sunstreaker was a hair over 100, so this doesn't shock me. Those prices seem fine. Version 2.0 Convoy, they wanted 600 and got something close to it. Whew, and this is a used copy. Now, that one I do remember. That's a $400 toy, brand new when it first came out. 600, I see. That's unreasonable. I don't like that. 220 for the Jetfire. I would think about that for a hard minute, because I really, really like my Jetfire. I liked Skyfire when I was a kid. My issue there would be the Siege version is so good. Like, Siege Jetfire seems like it does everything this one does, minus a few small bells and whistles. I don't know about, I don't know. That's the only one where I always hoped I would find it in person. Oh my God. Someone only paid 50 shipped. 50 shipped for Trax. Now, in the realm of Masterpiece, I will admit, I think Trax is one of the most disappointing. It does little transformation things that feel very lazy. It doesn't have like a Masterpiece kind of like trick to it. Like, I remember like a lot of Masterpiece toys used to like they were defined by like this little thing that it did to separate itself from what a normal standard transformer would do. They just had this one little bit of engineering that made them a little bit above the rest. Trax didn't have that. Trax felt bog standard and felt like it did things that were mostly just shortcuts. The panels on the front of his legs especially, because that has no bearing on the transformation. They're literally just panels that were on the sides that flip over into become the front of the legs. It feels ick. It feels ick. Why can't Trax ever get a good toy? Like, Trax always feels like he has the worst toys. Hot Rod is also pretty low for what he is, but this is a little bit more understanding. This is, again, one of the lower rung Masterpiece toys. He's mostly a shell former. Disappointing. And the new one coming out is just an upscale. Disappointing. Man, if you want to include the Masterpiece version that had like a grow-up evolution kind of gimmick, and you could have him as, air quote, Hot Rod, then that does make 3 Masterpiece toys in a row for Hot Rod that just do not feel like they're worth it. That's disappointing. That's disappointing. Didn't even think about putting in movie stuff. Didn't even think about the movie Masterpiece. 220 for that Super Jinrai. I believe that's close to retail. I want to say that's pretty close. I think that's worth it. That's a really, really good toy. I'm absolutely okay with that. 100 for Rigorous for a Diaclone repaint of Trailbreaker. Or I guess technically, I guess technically Hoist. I always laughed at this thing. This thing looked like Ronald McDonald as a robot to me. That's actually shocking. Like, Rigorous is just such a nothing character. I genuinely did not expect him to have any value left. The Bumblebees are weird too. $125. And that Masterpiece Bumblebee is like that tall. And it's nothing but shell. Like, it's just shell folded up into the shape of Bumblebee's robot mode. It's a really convoluted transformer. Like, the engineering complexity in that to actually make that work is not even like egregious to a point, not even being like impressive. It's just like it's just panel upon panel folding in. It feels like a lot of like the middle era third party toys where efficiency was not a question. It was literally just make it do whatever it has to do. 160 for the Jinrai seems expensive because there's just a cab. Soundwave for actually $100 for the OG Soundwave. Here's the funny thing. You know the MPG is going to be more expensive than that. Sure, you're only getting one cassette. You're only getting the laser beak. I think is true of the actual one too, now that I think of it. Still, this is a little over. This is like 110 bucks shipped. Yeah, this is way less. It's the same toy. Oh, that's bad. That's bad. Okay, missing a piece. We're not going to include that. Oh, okay. Takara told me Hound. Hound for 160? Really? I know it's in box. I know it's got a little specialty add-on thing there. But really? That toy is riddled with QC issues. Like, I guess you just need it for your collection? You need it for your display? Also, I'm just noticing the seller to this has 0% positive scores out of 976. Oh my god. How do any of you people buy from people like that? Hang on a second. I gotta... Not as nearly as an interesting tangent as I thought. He just has no feedback. Which is weird. Out of 976 transactions, no feedback yet. Let's continue. Okay, there's one. I guess... Okay, so... I never liked that first Starscream. It's not just a color scheme thing. Yes, the color scheme looks nothing like Masterpiece Starscream should look. It was just, the toy just felt weird, like the plastic was a different type. Almost like something I'd feel on like model kit plastic, like military model kit plastic. Not the stuff you normally feel on a Transformer. It was prone to stress marks on a few specific spots as a result. Yeah, this one I never really caught interest in. This one just felt, I don't know. It's because it had a completely different designer who had a completely different idea. Like, the designer thought the vehicle mode should be as accurate as possible to the real world, and that's not what they were supposed to be going for, but they went with it because apparently the designer's got clout like that. And according to him, he wanted to go even farther, but admitted that if they went any farther to make the jet mode more real world accurate, they wouldn't be able to turn it into a robot anymore. Gee, it's almost like the robot's kind of the point of these. So, yeah, like, I understand there's a nostalgia to it, though. Like, $200 for one does not actually surprise me. There's another Skywarp for 200. I'm sitting on that Skywarp that's just kind of like in the back of a shelf collecting dust. I might actually eBay that now. Let's see. The comic book style Grimlock still weirds me out. It's the MP08X Grimlock Special Limited Edition. It's only 120 bucks if you wanted your King Grimlock based on the Marvel comics. It's a very minor repaint and a crown accessory. That's basically what you got. That's basically it. Neat that they did it, but man, like G2 maybe? They didn't even do a G2 on that one. 80 bucks for the Red Alert, not a surprise. Okay, Beast Wars stuff, 135 shipped, roughly that for the Primal. I like that toy. That toy is weird. Like, it's not sculpted to have a texture, but it feels like it has a texture. Like, there's something weird. Like, they did some weird process to the paint. That's always a fascinating one. I don't think that's a terrible price. Like, admittedly, not a lot of these prices seem, like, egregious to me. You know, like, MPO1 for 400 feels a little bit weird. 200 for that original Starscream feels a little bit weird, but I can kind of justify those. Nothing of this was like really jumping out at me so far of like, wow, it really cost that much. Man, look, Reboost for 55 shipped. I recommend anyone who wants to experience a Masterpiece mold but doesn't want to spend a whole lot of money, I absolutely recommend Reboost. To me, he like the thing I always bring up is the fact that he feels like if Orion Pax never became Optimus but still came to Earth. That's the vibe I get off of that design. But no, this is a great little Masterpiece toy, and it's the most affordable one you can find because no one wants Skids or his variations. Okay, what is wrong with it? This is insane. You're telling me less than 25 bucks and you get MP21 Bumble Masterpiece. Hang on. Transformers MP21 Bumble Masterpiece Bumblebee Takara Tomy Complete B. Condition is used. Shipped with U.S. ground event. It doesn't even list the damage. Are you actually telling me that someone literally just bought a Masterpiece Bumblebee? A Masterpiece Bumblebee I like better than the 2.0, by the way, for literally less than 25. That's insane. That is insane. Like, I understand accuracy, but the first one's just a better toy. If you just want a toy Masterpiece Bumblebee, get the first one. It actually feels good. $70 shipped for Sunstreaker out of the box feels correct, because I think that was 100 retail when it came out. Deservedly so. The engineering on that's nuts. The the Conehead surprised me, because like these should be going for a lot more, even though it's the 1.5 version of the Seeker mold. But this is still like, I guess when they did the 2.0, people just started shoving off their Coneheads, their figures in general. But these are all like specialty releases. These weren't available for very long. But I also know these hit deep discounts on Big Bad and such to clear them out. So maybe there's that. That's definitely a factor. Sound Blaster for undisclosed price. $160 for Masterpiece. Really? So, fun fact, of all the Masterpiece toys from the era I was collecting Masterpiece, the only one that I wanted to grab and never managed to was the Magnus. It was way too expensive for me when it first came out. $160. Like, I will admit, I'm trying not to spend a lot. I'm trying not to go crazy money-wise these days, but like 160 on like a 4-month payment plan thing, or like a PayPal buy-in for, I'd probably do that. That's doesn't seem bad at all. And why is Clamp down $120 now? I don't care if it comes with a coin. It's Clamp down. Calm down. Oh, that makes me sad. That makes me sad. So $85 roughly to get a Masterpiece Star Saber. Now, granted, I don't see a sword, so this might be without accessories, but I do know that that is not a well-received Masterpiece, probably because it was a little bit rushed to design, and probably because it's not anywhere close to scale for Masterpiece. He should be like bigger, that like, you know how big Jetfire, like Skyfire, was in the old cartoon compared to the other Transformers? That's how big Star Saber is supposed to be. You know, the leader characters in these shows got enormous. So that's a little disappointing. It's disappointing, and I know the HasLab probably just kind of took its place completely. Shockwave doing fine. That's fine. Okay, $240 for a sealed one. $240 for a sealed one. That makes me feel better. So this one is very suspicious. Gecko Pack. You sell the same figure 3 times? So I want to remind people, I got screwed over by a seller who was using the same picture over and over for multiple copies of the toy they had. Are you kidding me? 125 shipped for a Magnus in box. That's absurd. That's absurd. I would have done that. I would have done that. Pinching pennies or trying to like be more responsible with my money aside, I'd have done that in a heartbeat. I think that's cheaper than when it first came out. Okay, it's a prototype, which is why it's missing its tail. But it is funny to just see Dinobot's head there. Is it the head? I can't even remember how that toy transforms. I transformed it once and decided I'm never doing this again. The blue streak. The legend. 130. That seems high for that. But I guess boxed. Yeah, that makes sense. Prowl being 126. This is wild to me. Same toy, different paint job, but because of the character, 125 versus 65. That's not fair. Justice for Blue Streak. That's still a good figure. Okay, you got less. Okay, someone got this for like good offer 60. It does look like it's missing. I don't know what Shadow Fisher is. I don't see the accessory parts, but like this is a fantastic toy. Like if you paid 60 ship for that, that's a fantastic toy. God, it's so funny to me to see how big that gun is. It's so ridiculous. Okay, Rhinox 280. I got mine on sale for like 220. I talk about pinching pennies, and then I announce how much I paid for that Rhinox. No, the Rhinox was cheaper. I got that on like a Hasbro Pulse, like 40% off sale. I can't remember, but I was like, I need that to complete my maximals, and yes, that's close enough. It's close enough before. $700 for a complete unopened MP44. Buy the Studio Series. I'm not even kidding here. I'm not even kidding. And this was like a week ago. This isn't even an old listing to have like some kind of, sanity to it. This toy is, it's exceptionally engineered. Yes, you would never convince me it's worth $700. Even sealed, even knowing it's going to be completely new in box and minty fresh if you actually have the guts to open it up. I ain't never paying that for that. Oh my God. Yeah, because like the Studio Series satisfies all of my needs for an Optimus Prime. I have no idea why you. Okay, I'm getting way too hyped up on this. Why is that Trax now 90 shipped? Oh my God. So I didn't want to go off on this too long. That's just literally just the first page. That's just like, yeah, it's like 120 of the listings. Obviously, there's like 9 other pages to go on. I just wanted a general idea of like where a masterpiece is these days. As far as value wise, oh, someone got a version for 120. That's good for you. Good for you. Why is that one nostalgic? Why? Here's a better version of the mold with more parts for half the price. What are you doing paying this for the blue one? What are you doing paying it for the blue one? Ooh, Delta Magnus. Another option. But yeah, this was just me wanting to go through and scroll through and just see what masterpiece prices were at. I'm actually kind of surprised. Most of these I feel are kind of at a level keel. Nothing here is like, I mean, aside from like 1 or 2 things, like the prices aren't egregious. Granted, economy being what it's being, this is still an expensive way to get transformed. Oh my God. $550 for Masterpiece Beast Wars Megatron. Oh my God. People, this is another one I skipped because it was too expensive when it first came out. This is like 250, 300, somewhere in that range when it first came out. I said, like, I can't handle that right now. And then it vanished. And I was like, kind of like, well, all the big characters get re-releases at some point. This one still hasn't gotten a re-release, and now it's almost $600 to buy. I hate past me for not being able to budget properly. But yeah, I just want a general idea of where Masterpiece was on the collector's end of this. And I really am curious if the whole idea, the whole reason why some of these prices aren't as bad as I was expecting them to be, if that isn't because Generations is doing so good at doing show accurate and getting a much wider range of characters out much faster. I'm genuinely wondering if that isn't playing a major part in like Masterpiece not having like huge value spikes behind it. Aside from a few particular ones, I'm actually kind of like whelmed. And this is fine. Oh my God. Please tell me these are knockoffs, because $50 each is a steal for those. Those are some of my favorite Masterpiece toys ever. Ah, well, we're going to wrap it up here because obviously I could literally go on about this for hours. Grimlock for 100. It's also not a great one. Oh, well, we need to quit here. We need to quit here because this could just keep going. So that's your general idea of where a Masterpiece is value-wise. If you're thinking of getting out and selling yours, or if you're thinking of going into it now, while the brand seems like at a weak point. But that was me settling some curiosity and dragging you along for the ride. So thank you very much for watching me do it to you, and I will see you next time. Hello everyone, I am Astral Agent Magnetar, a Tokusatsu VTuber, and I am streaming 4 times a week over on Twitch, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday afternoons, and a special late night one on late Friday/early Saturday. So come watch, come hang out, and let's make an impact together.